Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Smack Talk, a segment where we talk smack, and we also do some talking. This is a segment on professional wrestling and the UFC. My name is Eric Vidal, and this is...
Michael Del Castillo.
Yeah, and unfortunately our associate Roby Martinez cannot be here tonight. He will be here next week to talk about the UFC fight tonight, so don't miss out, folks. Back to you.
Alrighty, so let's talk about why we are doing this.
Yeah.
We are just huge fans of wrestling, and again, we just want to get our opinion out there on what's been happening in the wrestling industry, UFC industry, particularly WWE.
Yeah.
But before we get started on all that, let's talk about, let's just give us a brief personal question. So, what got you into wrestling, and who's your favorite wrestler?
Okay, well I got into wrestling, professional wrestling, in the mid-90s. My cousin, who I grew up with, he got me into professional wrestling. He used to watch it a lot, and I used to watch it with him. And after that, I just became an instant fan. I really liked WCW at that time, but to not go off on a tangent, favorite professional wrestler, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I love that era of professional wrestling. It was amazing.
Nice.
How about yourself?
For me, I got into wrestling in 2011. I was just flipping through channels, and then all of a sudden I landed on Randy Orton hitting an RKO on Jericho and Edge, and then he just looked so badass in the ring.
Dude, yeah.
So I was just like, I want to watch this more. So I got into it, and then I picked up on the storylines pretty quickly. Favorite wrestler would be Randy Orton because he's what got me into it. But as of late, with the Beast coming back, he's my favorite of all time. Brock Lesnar, dude. Here's the thing, because yes, he's a wrestler, but he looks like he can kill you for real.
Well, I mean, he was in the UFC.
Exactly.
He's a legitimate trained fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So he would definitely kick some ass.
Yeah. So since we're talking about Brock Lesnar, and since this is our very first episode, let's talk about WWE since the time Brock Lesnar came back in June this year.
Oh, okay.
So we can just get a general opinion of what's been going on. What do you think WWE has been doing in terms of storylines since Brock Lesnar came back? Because since the whole authority angle came in, and then probably about 6 months after that, the whole authority angle just kind of went boring immediately. And it was just like the same repetitive crap every single week.
Yeah.
So,
you see, I mean, there's not that many stars that are great on the mic like there were like 15 years ago.
Right.
Granted, it's a different time, different audience, different tastes. What they're doing right, I think, right now is how they're playing out Brock Lesnar to be some raging man just looking to get his title back. Then we get Undertaker back. I want to bring to that right away, but what I think they're doing wrong is they're just trying to cater to the ratings.
Yeah, okay.
Instead of actually committing to a storyline and letting it play out.
Right.
They just kill it, after a couple weeks, several weeks, and then they just go off to the next best thing in order to increase ratings. I think that's why they're not doing so hot.
I agree. I mean, Lesnar, just the mere mention of him, people pay attention because he is that star. He has that star power.
Yeah.
And since he went away after WrestleMania, the storyline with the Authority is just Seth Rollins just getting mad at Kane, getting mad at J&J Authority, getting mad at Triple H and Stephanie.
Another episode of Days of Our Lives.
Exactly. And then rinse, wash, repeat for the next week. And it's just been so boring. I mean,
like I did there.
Yeah. And it's just been I've just been fast forwarding through most of Rock unless I see a wrestler I want to watch and see his match.
I tend to do the same thing.
Yeah, and it's just been so boring. And then finally they bring back Lesnar, and then of course my interest goes up. The thing that they did wrong, in my opinion, is they set up the Beast against Seth Rollins. And not to take away anything from Seth Rollins, he's a talented wrestler, but when you set him up against Brock Lesnar as a cowardly heel, it's just going to be a beatdown. And although that's what we wanted to see, that beatdown didn't live up to what we wanted.
Yeah, I
agree. Before we get into Undertaker, there was, I think, 2 weeks? The second week that Brock Lesnar came back, he got attacked by J&J security. And
I remember that. Yeah.
Apparently they took out the Beast. How is J&J security supposed to take out Brock Lesnar And then Kane, an aging, with all due respect, Kane is an aging star that isn't what he used to be. He's corporate Kane now. He's not the Devil's Head Demon Kane.
I mean,
I just never found it convincing enough that those three could take out Brock Lesnar when you spent a year and a half creating Brock Lesnar and telling his story that this is an unstoppable force, and then average mini-man Joe gets the best on him.
I agree.
I hated that.
People can argue that Kane hasn't been the same since his bicep injury in 2002.
Okay.
So, but that's something different. I mean, he's a lot older, so that definitely plays a pivotal role. In regards to J&J Security, they're definitely cruiserweights. I don't know if they don't use that division anymore.
I don't think so at all.
Yeah, that title is probably vacant. Unfortunately, it was a great division.
Right.
These two little men cannot go toe to toe with Brock Lesnar. It's just they can't.
Yeah, exactly.
And with the whole heel thing with Seth Rollins, I really think they should have just let it play out and let Brock regain his title.
Right.
What's rightfully his.
The problem with him regaining his title is that the universe would again be subjected to he'll be in and out every other month.
Yeah.
I had no problem with it because it really did make it feel his arrival special. The thing that's happened, I think, from between WrestleMania until Lesnar's return, they had pay-per-view every 2 weeks.
Ooh,
and the storylines suffered severely. It was like, okay, pay-per-view. Okay, let's just do one more quick story. Then pay-per-view. One more quick story, pay-per-view. It never really added up. It was never that slow build to the payoff. That's why when Lesnar came back and we had that 5 weeks to build to Battleground, it was awesome. Lesnar was on there for 2 weeks plus his arrival in Japan.
And he destroyed that car.
Which is, exactly. Yeah. And it was perfect that they did a squash match in Japan against Kofi, because if Kofi was presented as a threat to Lesnar, it would have hurt his reputation.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So, now let's get to Battleground. Undertaker's return.
It's so sick.
Okay, I'm glad you're on that side.
I love Undertaker.
For me, I was so disappointed because, again, we all wanted to see Brock Lesnar kill Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about it. I love Undertaker, so I'm happy to see him back. But I hate how the circumstances were regarding his return.
Exactly.
It wasn't that
good. And this feels like a random insert for Undertaker. I mean, they want to build SummerSlam up to be really the second WrestleMania, basically. And I think this is the first time they're doing it in New York. I may be wrong. Correct us on that if we are wrong.
WrestleMania in New York?
No, SummerSlam.
Oh, SummerSlam in New York.
Yeah, is that the first time they've done it?
You know what? I'm not entirely sure about that.
Okay, yeah. So correct us on that if we are wrong. I mean, please
excuse us, fans.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stuff going on in our lives. So
we do. Oh my God. I don't want to talk about it right now. Take a moment.
Moment of silence.
Okay, let's go
going back.
But yeah, I think they really want to hype it up. So of course, bring out the biggest name in your company, Undertaker.
Yeah.
And again, with all due respect to the Undertaker, though, he is aging, and it hurts the storyline when you're presenting the legend. Okay, Undertaker's absolutely a legend.
The Phenom.
The Phenom, exactly. When you're presenting him up against the unstoppable force that Brock Lesnar is, Paul Heyman said it perfectly in his promo. Undertaker, you may have sold your soul to the devil, but Brock Lesnar owns your ass. And honestly, I think that's just, story-wise it might not happen, but in reality, Brock Lesnar would probably own Undertaker. When the Raw or Battleground itself, when Undertaker went to do the tombstone on Lesnar, his legs buckled.
Brock is a big dude.
Oh yeah,
Brock is a big dude. I think the whole return was done at the wrong time. It should have been done at WrestleMania. And he should have never fought Bray Wyatt.
Exactly.
It just didn't make any sense.
Really?
I
was excited for the match. It didn't live up.
No, of course
not.
I
was excited for it.
It didn't make sense. All of a sudden you got beaten by Brock Lesnar, and then the next year you come back and it's like nothing happened.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. Then months after that, it's like, okay, it did happen.
Right.
Okay, I'm assuming this was like a trial match to see how your health was.
Yeah, I think
that's what it was. But overall, I'm excited to see Undertaker back. I'm excited to see Sting back, because I heard rumors about both of them being at Battleground. Fortunately, Sting wasn't there.
Yeah. rumors are they took Sting off SummerSlam also.
Yeah.
Unless he's going to help out Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose.
Unless he interferes in the Undertaker Brock Lesnar match,
which
I highly doubt.
That would be perfect though, because the thing is, you don't want to hurt Undertaker's image any further. Since Lesnar destroyed the streak, Undertaker has lost that mystique. When he came back for WrestleMania 31, I was like, he's not that epic anymore, right?
I mean, he granted he did get injured in the match.
Exactly.
With Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
So I mean, he also wanted Brock Lesnar to actually take his streak away.
Of course. Which I mean, I think it's a good move.
Yeah, he's definitely worthy.
If there was anyone who really could have sold taking out the streak, it would be Lesnar.
Yeah, a professional fighter. Brock Lesnar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was a good move. And story-wise, Undertaker coming back to exact revenge on Lesnar, at least they did that right.
Yeah.
So
should have done a little sooner, but at least they're finally doing it.
I mean, Undertaker explained it. Why is like you just kept saying it and saying it until finally I've had enough.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's really good. Let's transition. Since you talked about Bray Wyatt, I want to talk about the John Cena effect real fast. And by that I mean
John Cena effect and Trainwreck?
Oh my god. I will never look at John Cena the same way ever again after watching Trainwreck. He's a funny dude, but I
definitely don't want to see him now.
Yeah, that was. Oh my god. He's funny though, but Jesus, that was too much.
Yeah, it did.
But okay, let's talk about the John Cena effect in terms of throwing up and comers against them to kind of build up their name. So first we've had Rusev, we've had Bray Wyatt, and lately we've had Kevin Owens.
I think he's a phenomenal talent, Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens is awesome.
Yeah,
okay,
definitely is.
What I love about Kevin Owens is that he's not the build. He's not the wrestler build, but he can wrestle like crazy.
He's kind of like Samoa Joe.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, he did a flip off of the second rope in one of his matches. I was like, whoa, that's awesome. But what I want to talk about the John Cena effect is, you throw up and comers up against them to build a rapport for themselves, and they win a match against them. Bray Wyatt has won once against John Cena. Same with Rusev and same with Kevin Owens. Ultimately, writing says John Cena wins the war. Rusev has disappeared into obscurity as of late.
Dealing with Lana.
And Ziggler, and that's. And we'll talk about Ziggler in a bit.
Butterface Ray.
Yeah. Oh my God. We'll talk about Ziggler in a bit because he's also fallen way far.
Yeah.
But
the mid card is suffering.
Yeah. Bray Wyatt, since losing to John Cena, has had a tough time coming back. He faced Jericho. That was a bad match. He faced Ryback. No one cared about that match. You can't be
writing that's bad.
Exactly.
I mean,
you can't be saying you are the devil, and you can consume the world in evil, and then lose to average people.
Yeah.
It's hurting, and Bray Wyatt winning against Roman Reigns was the right move. And reuniting the Wyatt family is the right move.
Yeah, you see, I think back in the 90s, Undertaker was a dead man for a while.
Yeah. And
all of a sudden he got the Ministry of Darkness.
Yeah.
Like he just got a whole faction behind him. I think that's what they should do with Bray Wyatt. Get a whole, followers behind him. Get, a whole pack.
They did that with the kids.
And, but I mean, they're not big of a threat. I mean, they're creepy as hell. I mean, I really think kids in horror movies are creepy as hell.
I think that was a really smart move for them to do. I think they pulled back on it because, you don't really want to involve kids in, this evil thing. True. You want to protect their innocence, which is a good thing. And
unless you're watching a movie like The Omen.
It was a good move on WWE's part, but it was... I wish it kind of did work more, but I understand why they may have pulled it back.
It's still PG.
Exactly, and that's fine. Rusev has disappeared into obscurity, we've already said, so we can just move past that. Kevin Owens, he's still a threat, but now he's...
Main eventing.
But now he's going up against Cesaro, who is another underappreciated talent, and it's kind of on the lower end of the mid card.
Yeah, I really like Cesaro. I think he's a great talent. I just think he's not utilized properly.
But he needs more mic skills.
Oh, I think everyone does. I think everyone needs a coordinator, some trainer for that.
Right.
They're just bad. There's 2 or 3 that are good.
Yeah, something like that. They need to just have a class where Paul Heyman teaches them. I mean, I think that's what we need.
Or Ric Flair, because I mean, look at Charlotte. She's great.
Okay.
She's great.
Mm-hmm. So let's transition from the John Cena fight into his latest opponent, which looks like Seth Rollins.
Oh man, but did you see that match?
Yes.
He broke his nose.
Broke his nose.
That was awesome.
Uh-huh.
When you say wrestling is fake, it is not fake. It is scripted, and injuries do happen. So don't try to.
And I do want to talk about an article I read. Dana White called out WWE saying it's fake. What's that? Hey, if we can say shit on cable television, we can say it on YouTube.
We can bleep that out.
We can. Shit. Oh god. But okay, so John Cena is now facing Seth Rollins for what looks like SummerSlam.
Mm.
I don't mind the match, but John Cena is again being reinserted into the title picture.
Yeah.
He's been doing great as the leader of the mid card.
He needs to stay there.
I love watching his matches in the mid card because it's a new talent.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: when they lose to John Cena, it actually helps them because they're not doing the whole rivalry.
It legitimizes them as an actual performer.
Exactly. Sami Zayn was awesome. Mm-hmm. Stardust was awesome. Cesaro's been having great matches with them.
Adrian Neville disappeared.
Yes.
And he was great at first.
He might be fighting Stardust in SummerSlam, or either that, or he's apparently fighting Arrow.
I'd rather see Goldust.
Goldust is injured though.
Goldust is awesome.
Yeah, condolences though to Stardust and Goldust for your father.
The great American dream, American hero, Dusty Rhodes.
Absolutely.
Can't beat the legends, man.
Mm-hmm. There was that one line that John Cena said where he said, "You may be the main title holder, but I am the real champion." Great line, and for the purposes of the story, it was great. Mm-hmm. But I think they're hurting the quality of the WWE title by saying that the US title is a lot better.
I mean, I think he said that in regards to him having the title so many times.
Yeah.
The reason why I don't want him to have the title again is because I want Ric Flair to maintain the record.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he himself is a legend.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
I mean, style and profile, and you know, it's just amazing. I don't think John Cena is that as great as, you know, a Ric Flair or a Hulk Hogan or a Macho Man Randy Savage. I mean, he's great. Mm-hmm. He's this generation's Hulk Hogan, in my opinion, but he's just not at that level.
Yeah.
You know?
We can definitely at least... Well, we can give props to John Cena because he's been busting out new moves against this new talent. So I respect him for that.
And he's taken a broken nose. He apparently had surgery, I think, a while ago.
Yeah, he's going to be back in like a week because he's Superman. He really is Superman, apparently, because he comes back from injuries like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're not, you know, testing, you know, just pop in some pain pills, you know. And these wrestlers will be fine.
Oh, no. Okay, I want to transition over to the Divas.
Oh, man. Amazing stuff.
I feel like they're not giving... Granted, they want to sweep this under the rug, but they're not giving enough credit to AJ Lee. Because when she dropped that pipe bomb on the Total Divas, it's everything that's been happening now is a result of basically her pipe bomb. It's saying, you Total Divas are fake, watch real women's wrestling. You know, which was her, and then Paige came up, and then now we have the Four Horsewomen. Well, Bayley is still at NXT, but now we have the Four Horsewomen basically represented on Raw. So the Divas Revolution, we're running out of time, is... Yeah, I mean, this is the first episode, so we can go a bit further on. Then next episodes we'll fall back a bit. But the Divas Revolution, it's been great so far.
Yeah.
So, especially now that I don't think Sasha, Becky, or Charlotte have a loss on the main roster. Oh no, I think Becky has one loss.
Yeah.
But it's to a real wrestler, not one of the Total Divas. Yeah.
Yeah. I personally, I think Charlotte is a phenomenal talent. I mean, I think it's in her blood. You know, just like Randy Orton, third generation superstar. You know, Cowboy Bob Orton, Randy Orton, Ric Flair, Charlotte. They know how to do it. They know how to sell. They know how to talk. They know how to do the moves.
Right.
I love what she's doing with the figure four.
Figure eight.
Figure eight.
And on that note, we will be right back. All right, guys, we're back, and before we went on break, we were talking about Charlotte and Figure 4 now becoming the Figure 8.
Figure 8, yeah.
And that's a great move, and I just love her paying tribute to her dad that way.
Yeah.
It's really great. Something that I've really come to love is when the wrestlers they take on their personas, their moves, it goes after them. Charlotte has one called Charlotte's Web.
Oh, yeah.
And then Sasha Banks has the
bank statement.
The bank statement, and it's Paige is the Paige tap out, and Rampage.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome,
Oh, yeah.
and then AJ's became the Widow's Web. So, I just love when they named their moves after them, and I always think to myself, like, did they plan out their moveset according to what name they were gonna get?
You can definitely see the passion.
Yeah,
in
I just love it when
that.
it works out that way.
Mm-hmm. The RKO.
RKO.
Yeah.
Is that Randy Knockout or Randall Keith Orton? Is what it is.
You know what? Who knows?
Yeah.
I've always thought it was Randy Knockout.
Uh-huh.
I've always thought.
Yeah. Do you know what the STF means? That's something I like.
Shut the
That's something I've been researching. I'm like, what does it mean?
No, I mean I think that's the generic name for it.
Oh, okay.
It's a wrestling move that's been around. I don't really know the name. I can't really say it off the top of my head.
Okay.
But I mean, in older wrestling games that I played, probably like back in Here Comes the best game, in my opinion, from 2003. Here Comes the Pain, best game ever in professional wrestling. Yeah, they had that move there.
Right.
I'm assuming it's still called the STF.
Mm-hmm,
so it's just a generic wrestling move.
Right.
So.
Okay, so let's get back on to the Divas. I'm not to take anything away from Nikki Bella.
Mm.
Personally, I do not think she should eclipse AJ's reign. Because, and I want comments on this. I really do, because AJ, let's take her career into perspective, right?
Mm.
For a long time, she was the only one wrestling on the roster.
Mm.
For all the other Divas matches were slap fests, right?
Well, clearly you haven't seen them from like 10 years ago.
Well, no, I'm talking about today, mainstream,
Yeah.
within the last. I don't know whenever Lita and Trish Stratus left.
Yeah.
That's when the Divas started to suffer a bit more, I believe, right?
I mean, those women were actually very, very sexy, but they could also wrestle very, very well.
Right.
Granted, I do miss the bra and panties matches. You know, I think that's what really attracted me back then, as growing up as a teenager. Yeah, it was great at that time. Anyways,
do we have to censor that? Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. I'll just call it.
Don't we have to censor that?
No, we don't have to.
Oh, okay.
Not that one. We do because of the World
That's like 4
Fund.
times we have to censor it.
This is the World Wildlife Fund. You don't have to censor that. You don't have to censor it. It was great. It was better back then. You know, it was just it was uncensored.
You're right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was just no holds barred.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was just hardcore. Granted, it was because of ECW.
Yeah.
And WCW going with realism.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent.
Yeah.
Yes, the women's division has suffered a lot.
Right.
It has suffered greatly. AJ Lee did keep it afloat for a very long time.
Yeah.
Nikki Bella is not that great of a wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt she's been giving. I mean, she's become a better wrestler.
Yeah, she has.
But the thing for me is there's that stigma that you have the show Total Divas behind you. I have a feeling like, are you only? Here's my theory. WWE is only pushing Nikki to potentially go over AJ's reign because they want to sweep AJ Lee under the carpet. Because I'm assuming, like what happened with CM Punk, they left on bad terms.
Hopefully they won't Benoit her.
Yeah. No. 2, they're trying to become. They want Nikki to become mainstream, and again, no disrespect to Nikki, I just feel like she hasn't done enough to warrant her becoming the longest Divas champion. Because AJ was controversial, but AJ had people paying attention to her. Because she could wrestle, she could talk smack on the mic. She was amazing on the mic. Nikki and Brie and the Total Divas on the mic, they're reading off a script.
Oh yeah,
you can just tell.
Very robotic.
Exactly. Yeah. They're like, even when Brie and Nikki had their storyline where they fought each other,
Yeah,
it
I
still
didn't feel
felt so scripted.
Yeah, I did not feel the realism.
You and I aren't related, but if we had to have a pretend fight, we could make it seem so much more legit than Brie and Nikki did, who are blood.
True.
Yeah.
That is true.
And it just felt so fake. And I want to comment.
Because that's the bottom line.
Yeah. I do want to... Okay, I will admit, I do watch Total Divas. Okay.
I probably have seen one episode. I don't know.
And the reason why I watch is because I do like seeing the daily lives of these wrestlers. I like seeing behind the curtain. Unfortunately, it's become very annoying. It's a reality show.
I mean, it is on E!
Yeah,
television.
so of course it's going to be the drama.
Yeah.
But the premiere for this season 4, I believe, for Total Divas,
Damn.
Nikki said, when she wrestles, pay attention. And then, I'm a filmmaker, and mainly I'm an editor. So as an editor, my job is to make the best product, to make you believe in everything you're seeing.
Yeah.
When Nikki said when she wrestles and she's making the Divas division legitimate, they intercut her interview with her wrestling and then intercut it with scenes of the audience saying, "This is awesome." I've never seen a Divas match from back then ever have the word "this is awesome" or have the phrase "this is awesome" being shouted by the audience. That's probably when Brock was killing someone and they were saying "this is awesome."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how do you get a "this is awesome" chant going on a 2-minute match? Which is what's been happening lately.
Yeah, you're not gonna get. I mean, shit. I mean, unless you have Jeff Hardy going against Rob Van Dam in their prime.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna get that chant, but.
So for me, and again, I don't know. Okay, reality shows are scripted to a point, but if she, and again, I don't want to knock her, but if she truly believes that, I'm thinking, where's your head at? Because I don't watch any of your matches because I find them so boring because they're just a slap fest.
Yeah.
And you can't talk on the mic. Now, let's fast forward all the way to now the Divas Revolution. Where now Charlotte and Sasha and Becky are now in the mix. And Paige, I'll give Paige credit because she can wrestle.
Hopefully Bayley comes up to the main roster.
Hopefully Bayley comes up. But then, who's going to be left on NXT? Right?
Well, I mean, that's why they have Tough Enough going on. You know, we can get in some
Tough, no.
Tough Enough isn't what it used to be.
No.
Everything's very political and...
We'll talk about Tough Enough. I want to talk about Tough Enough too. But
I need to catch up on Tough Enough before I start talking about it. I haven't really seen it as much.
Okay.
I've seen like the first two, but...
First two?
Yeah.
You're not missing much, trust me, dude.
I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard.
I wish Jericho was more involved, like Stone Cold was.
Yeah, several years ago.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was awesome.
Cool.
I love that one.
Booker T was there.
Booker's still there.
Oh, he's still there?
Yeah, but he's just a trainer. I mean, he's still a trainer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's wrap up on the Divas division real fast. But I do want to say, when they first came up, the NXT women, and then they had the match at Battleground. Okay, so I think it was Charlotte who was wrestling, and then with Sasha, and then with Brie. I think I might be wrong there. Anyway, the match, I want to focus on Brie at Battleground. You could tell she couldn't wrestle. Like,
I mean,
when
her
she
husband is John Cena, you know, the 5 moves of doom.
Brie.
Oh, Brie, oh my.
Yeah, when she tried to replicate Daniel Bryan.
Oh, with
and
the kicks?
The kicks, I was like, no, this is bad. And then she did like the whole Brie mode thing, trying to get like hype around it. I was like, no, not good.
Oh, the Hulkamaniac?
Yeah, it was so bad, and I really don't like.
It's very cheesy.
I really don't like how in
cheesy.
Total Divas they're saying they're the future, they're the best. They want to carry this division into the next decade.
Well, I mean,
and then Nikki is going like, I want to become the next Rock. I'm like, girl, you can't even talk on the mic.
I think they're doing that for a reason. You know, I think she's definitely a heel. So the heels are definitely supposed to piss off the audience.
Okay.
And so they're just trying to like push her to that level, and then also someone takes her down, and that becomes the face of the women's division.
I guess.
I mean, that's the only logical thing I can think of.
But
it is WWE today, so I know they're gonna drop the ball. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that. I love WWE, but damn.
In order to stop dropping the ball, just fire the writing staff for real. For real.
Hire Vince Russo back.
Oh my god.
Hire Vince Russo back and Eric Bischoff.
Oh my.
And get Hulk Hogan back.
Oh no. Help!
Get Goldberg, recreate WCW going to hell.
hire Paul Heyman to take over. I mean, like,
you didn't watch wrestling back in the day.
well, I've seen I watched the documentaries on the WWE Network for $9.99 a month.
Remember that.
And Paul Heyman was talking about how when he took over SmackDown's ratings eclipsed.
Yes, in
Raw's
2003.
ratings. Yeah.
Yeah, he was on TV general manager.
Yeah.
You're right. He was in charge of the writing in 2003.
Yeah.
And SmackDown became the wrestling show.
Yeah.
And it was awesome, man. You had Chris Benoit.
Right.
There's really not much I can say about Chris Benoit. Eddie Guerrero.
Right.
Rey Mysterio. Billy Kidman. Ultimo Dragon at that time. All the cruiserweights, Jamie Noble. And that was the cruiserweight division. They were great. Now we get into the mid card. You have a young John Cena. You have Brock Lesnar kicking everyone's ass.
Right. Randy was now there also, right?
No, Randy was on Raw.
Oh, Randy was on Raw.
Yeah, he was with Evolution and with Ric
Bring
Flair.
back Batista, please.
Oh, you mean Blue Tista?
Oh, God. I felt so bad.
Power Rangers.
Here's the thing, though. You shouldn't feel bad about Blue Tista, because he was in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's blue. Like, if anything, they were giving him support for his role.
I just love the memes that people do. I mean, they just put him in every single color.
Yeah.
It was awesome, dude. All that was missing was Zordon. It would have been great.
Oh, my goodness.
2003 was great. Even Raw was great. I mean, you had Goldberg there. Granted, a lot of the WCW wrestlers were, underutilized. Booker T was underutilized.
Right.
Scott Steiner, and everyone. But we're talking about SmackDown and Paul Heyman. Kurt Angle, put on phenomenal matches with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 19, great match. I mean, Brock Lesnar did a 450 splash. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hurt himself. No, he landed that one. It was against Kurt Angle that
he landed. He almost didn't land it.
Yeah,
he almost didn't land.
See, that's how you know Brock Lesnar's a beast, because he got up from it.
A guy that size, doing that flip, man. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Heyman should be given more control of the writing stuff today.
I mean, when Lesnar's not on, what else are you having him do?
Eat, sleep, repeat.
Hey, there you go. But yes, I think I don't have anything else I wanted to bring up for Smack Talk. I think it's
Hulk Hogan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's go into recent news. Yeah, so Hulk Hogan controversy.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate event. I mean, it was 8 years ago.
Yeah, and I think just the lesson for every one of us is if you are gonna say something, say it in the company of the people you trust most.
Regardless of what type of video you're making.
Yeah, and just don't say it on camera.
Yeah.
Because things can come back to bite you.
I mean, they always
Arnold, his kid, and
that kid looks exactly like
I know. It really hurt him, but he's coming back.
He's coming back in a big way.
He's coming back in a big way, and I do have support for him, and Hulk Hogan does have my support. I hope he can regain his road. I mean, the beautiful thing about people, and we don't give people enough credit, is that if you want to be forgiven, they'll forgive you eventually. You just have to work for it.
No, of course. WWE has been accused, or allegedly been labeled as a racist company.
Yeah.
I mean, of course,
you don't have an African American champion.
Well, they
I have a lot of people have gripes with that, actually.
That is true. That is true. I mean, you had a phenomenal talent back in the early '90s in Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah.
He was like mush mouth on the mic.
Right.
But he was like Brock Lesnar before Brock Lesnar.
Wow.
He was that good.
Wow.
In my opinion. I know a lot of people will say no. I thought he was great. Big, muscular, kicked everyone's ass. He just was not great on the mic. But in regards to African Americans not getting the world title, I think probably only The Rock, but he's like Samoan.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, he does have African American blood in him, so at least give that credit. But everyone is saying, he's more Samoan than he is African American.
Yeah, he's a very whitewashed guy. Yeah. I mean, and when Booker T held the title, he wasn't Booker T, he was King Booker.
Oh,
so,
I see.
Mean, it was like an English type of persona.
I see, okay,
and
so that's why.
It wasn't his Can You Dig It sucker persona where he was calling Hulk Hogan the N-word.
I do agree, there were interviews with, I think one of them was JTG. He was complaining.
Crime Time.
Yeah, and he was complaining African Americans have to work so much harder than other races to get a notification or notice. And I do agree. I feel like that's just how it's just been.
I think any minority.
Any minority,
in the WWE.
But my only counter to that point is you have to put yourself up against the other champions that have been there. Can Kofi take on Lesnar?
No, he's too small.
Can Big E take on Lesnar? Can Xavier Woods take on Lesnar?
I like the guy, but I don't.
I love them, but it's people always say it's the X factor, and people are on both sides. Yeah, you need the X factor, and people say, well, why do you always have to go back to that argument? The X factor. But here's the thing: can you really see this guy? Can Kofi go up against Randy Orton? Yeah, he did.
They did have one guy come in, like around 2005, 2006.
Okay.
Bobby Lashley.
Okay.
I thought he was great, and they did propel him to the main event. He was ECW champion.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he left.
Yeah.
He's now wrestling in TNA. I don't know what the hell he's doing in TNA. This career
haven't they been bankrupt like 5 times this last year?
They keep coming up with a miracle, man, dude. Now the Destination America. I used to like their product. I followed it from its inception back in 02, 03. I saw it when Jeff Jarrett first launched it. It was a surprise to me. I had no idea it was even on. I just, on Fridays, I used to just turn on the channel on Fox Sports, and all of a sudden I used to watch wrestling there, and I thought it was great. And then Jeff Hardy debuted there, and I just really got hooked on it. I thought it was great, but, Dixie Carter came along. It's just, the product is horrid now.
Yeah.
I'm having my doubts on Global Force Wrestling as well. I don't know.
Yeah, then they hired Scott Hall, right? And then they took him out like just fast.
Scott Hall, he is a genius when it comes to booking matches and in regards to the business.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's had a lot of drug problems, but now he's sober, so that's great.
That's good.
In regards to Global Force Wrestling and Scott Hall, I don't think they're going to be able to utilize anybody correctly.
Right.
I know they have a very, very good pool of talent. I've seen the roster, so just a glimpse of it. Pretty good.
Okay.
It's pretty good. But Bobby Lashley, in regards to the African American champion, I thought he was great. He just wasn't utilized correctly, and he left. He was main eventing. He was definitely main eventing. He was ECW World Champion when they had 3 World Championships at that time.
Okay. And I do want to talk about UFC, but we'll say that until Roby can come here next week.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about Lesnar almost going over there, and then CM Punk. We're anticipating his match. Yeah.
See, I'm recording the UFC match, so I'm gonna go see that later.
Okay, and then you can talk about it too.
I can definitely talk about that. I wanted to do the show because it's flipping awesome.
Awesome.
And next week definitely gonna talk about it with Roby Martinez, our phenomenal associate on the UFC.
And then another legend passed away. We'll end on this note.
Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper passed away, unfortunately. Heart attack. He was alone. That's terrible. I think our greatest fear is dying alone. So we're ending off on that, even though it's a sad note. But this is why we're going to end up on that. Make a lot of friends. Find someone you can spend the rest of your life with.
And stay off the drugs.
Stay off the drugs. That way you don't die alone.
And you won't get cardiac arrest
sooner
rather than later.
All right. So guys, thank you for watching the first episode of Smack Talk. I'm Michael Del Castillo.
And I'm Eric Vidal, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Keep it awesome.